Hello and welcome to the next episode in Parental Estrangement. This week we'll be talking about internalized toxic masculinity, its role in parental estrangement, and the way I used it in the promo was, is it really just jokes? When I talk with parents about parental estrangement and they say, well, I don't know what is the cause for, the parental, my son or daughter stopped speaking to me. Or, I don't know what's the cause that my sister or brother stopped speaking to me. Or my grandchildren stopped speaking to me. And it had nothing to do with, in terms of them being abusive physically, emotionally, or mentally. I asked, okay, so what's the relationship like? What was the last thing you remember being said? And so many times there are things that are laying there just under the surface that people don't even think to consider. They don't even consider it something that might have been harmful, right? Because what's harmful is dependent upon how we were raised. What did our ancestors believe was, a toxic family trait, right? What did our parents tell us was wrong or right? Not every time our parents have had discussions with us about what's wrong or right was from a lens of where it was morally sound or not, but more along the lines of, well, it's how you interpret it, right? How many times have you heard someone say something ugly or painful at a family event and someone say, oh, they were just joking. That's just how so-and-so is. You're just too sensitive. Oh, girl, you know what that's really about. Oh, well, that's how well, I guess I just won't say nothing. Yeah, don't say nothing. That would work too. When we look at the many ways that us and our children engage, how we engage with them has a lot to do with how our parents engage with us. And using the example of, is it really just jokes? I use that because I heard a former comedian, and I shouldn't even say former comedian, and I really can't remember his name right now. Was it? Maybe, I don't remember. Anyway, he said that, I remember hearing a comedian say that comedy, I think it was Mike Epps, comedy was a way to deal with pain, right? And sometimes people had to adopt or adapt to bullying, people making jokes about them because they were different. And some people come out of it on the other end and they can make a life and a career out of it, and they laugh about their pain later. And that doesn't mean that during that time that it wasn't a very painful experience for them. As someone who has worked with parents who are, or caregivers who are caregivers for loved ones living with a mental health diagnosis and who may be struggling with their illness and struggling to find the right treatment plan. A lot of times, a lot of what triggered their loved one during or around the holidays were insensitive remarks. Things said in jest that were not funny at all, that family members took it upon themselves to create a moment for entertainment for themselves, right? And so when we talk about the impact that has on someone's mental health, we have to start thinking about that. If you're on the receiving end of someone taunting or making fun of you because you're different, wanting you to feel a certain way because it makes them feel good when people laugh, when they say whatever it is they're saying. Some people are just doing it to be malicious, and people around them probably could have some of the same belief systems, and they're enjoying the shit kicking session, if you will. It was important for me to talk about this because I have been on the receiving end of it. My children have been on the receiving end of it. I've been at family functions and came to the rescue of people who have been on the receiving end of it. In my time as a caregiver coach, I've seen people on the receiving end of it. As a case manager, I've seen families and children on the receiving end of, oh, it was just a joke, okay? I combed through a couple of experiences that I wanted to share with you tonight, but it's been trying to stay within the time limit we have here. I've been doing about 30 minutes, and on average, what I'm seeing is many of you are only staying about to the 15-minute mark. And so I figure my time is valuable, yours is valuable, and so this is a choice that the viewers have made, and so I'm going to shorten my videos. And so with that said, when it comes to things like homophobia, where LGBTQIA children are attacked because of who they are, and jokes are made at the family functions, and how, you know, painful that can be for a child, for a parent to not stand up to family who is causing harm to them. You know, things like, ooh, girl, what she got on? Ooh, girl, oh, come on. Girl, what do you got on? Those things that were allowed, that you didn't protect your child from. Those can be ways that the road to parental estrangement can be paved. When you don't speak up for your babies, when you hid your support in public, when you chose to tell them to forgive the family because that's just how they are, and you still let them come into your home. You let them create a hostile environment for your child. That's damaging. And that would be a reason, or could be a reason, that a child could grow up and choose not to have contact with their parent. It may not have been the parent that did anything to the child, but it may have been the fact that you did when you didn't stand up for them, when you didn't create safe spaces for them amongst family gatherings, protect them from teachers, sports coaches, religious people. So I wanted to, you know, share that bit of insight with you. Next on the list is hypersensitivity. It's missing. It's missing in the world today. People who care, people who have a heart, who feel for other people, who don't want to cause pain to other people because something in them that is alive and knows that it doesn't feel good to be on the receiving end of crap. Why would I put that on someone else? Why would I want to put that out there onto someone else? When we have children who cry because someone took their truck from them, cry because someone pushed them off the swing, and, well, you didn't get hurt, I don't know what you're doing all that crying for. Maybe that's how they feel about it. Maybe the baby felt that this really hurt my feelings. I can't believe somebody could be so cruel and mean to me. Sometimes parents make the mistake of believing that their children should be who they are, many versions of themselves. And in fact, I come across so many parents who tell me, oh, well, that's not a characteristic they got from me. Maybe it's not a characteristic they got from their other parent either. Maybe that's just who they are. And I had to stop myself from always being funny about, oh, you got your looks from me, all that other stuff you got from your daddy. That tells the kid, my dad not shit, so I must not be shit either. If that's what you're saying in that context, that's what it's saying. And we can say it in jest. My children, I would say that all the time. Oh my goodness, you know what? You did such a good job. Ooh, mama's so proud of you. See, that's that splaying gene. That's me all the way, 100. And then turn around, and when something would go wrong, oh, that's not me. I don't know where you got that from. That must be your daddy people. it took me some time to understand how damaging that could be. And although my children never said anything to me about it, I apologized to them later because that was something that was harmful, even if it was with the intent of being funny. It wasn't funny because children are listening. And what we say to them, they store that away. What's something you can think of in your mind that your parent may have said to you that was very painful and that you can remember it like it was yesterday? That happens for our children. So there are times when a child is crying and we're telling, oh, shut up before I give you something to cry for. You're always crying. Cut it out. Go sit down over there. Oh my God, here come that crying one. Oh, child. I had a sister that she cried a lot when we were little. They nicknamed her Screaming Mimi. She carried that into, I think, my grandmother may have stopped saying it when we were in, I would say about 9 or 10. She was sensitive. And I didn't know it at the time. I just knew that, oh my goodness, she's a crybaby. And that's another thing that I'll be talking about. Whew. I'll be talking about that. I'm going to have to extend this. You guys are just going to have to flip through. Because